What is up guys, it's Cal, and in this video we'll be talking about patch 8.1. Nothing particularly specific in this patch, but merely the patch as a whole. It's been on the PTR for some time now, and they really told us all we needed to know about it at BlizzCon. Also the fact that the patch is coming out December 11th, so mark your calendars. So I'm here to tell you everything this patch will have to offer once it hits live servers, and what to look forward to really. Now first off, the biggest thing of course is the Battle of dazar'alor raid. This is where the Alliance raid dazar'alor, Horde get the word of it, and then they go protect the Great Seal. So this is a 9-boss raid, and it's fairly unique in the sense that both factions will be facing the same bosses in different ways. So all 9 bosses will be in the same order for both factions. That was something that was a little confusing to some when the raid was first announced. So the first 3 bosses will have the same abilities for each faction, but are different in cosmetic standards. Like the first fight is the Paladin fight. Alliance will fight Rwani, Kane, that's probably not how you pronounce that, and Horde will fight Frida Iron Bellows. The second fight is against Grong, who is a giant ape. Now the Horde fight King Grong, whereas the Alliance fight Grong the Revenant. As you can tell from their models, the version the Alliance face is a bit rougher than who the Horde faces, and that's because in the overview text for Grong the Revenant, which is who the Alliance faces, it reads, "Once willing to sacrifice everything to serve the Alliance, the mighty Grong has been raised from the dead and pitted against his former friends. Fighting on behalf of the Horde would be anathema to this noble soul, whose only hope for release is a clean death." So the premise is that lore-wise, the Horde fight him first, kill him, resurrect him, and then the Alliance have to kill him. So that's pretty interesting. Now the third fight the Alliance face is Grimfang and Firecaller, and the Horde face Flamefist and the Illuminated. It's like a duo fight. So once again, these 3 fights, same mechanics, just different cosmetically. Now after that are 3 fights that lore-wise Alliance will face, and it's the Treasure Guardian, who had his name changed to Opulence, Conclave of the Chosen, and King Rosticon, all of which take place inside of the Great Seal, in a never-before-seen area. So as a Horde player, you'll fight these 3 bosses at this point as well, but you will have your race change to another predetermined race, and I'll get to that in a second, meaning you will pick up all that race's racials. Now after that are the 3 bosses that Horde face, lore-wise. It's High Tinker Mechatork, Stormwall Blockade, and finally, Jaina Proudmoore. So at this point, Alliance players will have their race changed to another race, that's on the Horde side of course. Now on the screen now is a chart from Wowhead on who will turn into what once the time comes in this raid. And as I said before, you do pick up that race's racials. So as a Night Elf hunter myself, I don't really mind being a troll for their haste racial, berserking I think is what it's called. But anyways, I'm not going to say any spoilers of what happens in this raid, story-wise, since a lot of it has been dad mined, but there are some interesting things that go on with familiar faces that I have made videos on if you'd like to check those out. Now this raid actually isn't coming out until early next year, so you don't have to worry about farming for gear over the holidays. So there is the Battle of dazar'alor, which drops gear ranging from item level 375 from LFR to 415 from Mythic, and also there are some nice looking mounts that come out of it, like this Gmod mount that High Tinker Mechatork has a chance to drop, and then this Glacial Tidestorm mount that Jaina Proudmoore drops on Mythic difficulty. Speaking of mounts, there are quite a few mounts that are coming in 8.1 that I made a video on. One of these mounts is the Hive Mind mount, which will be found from a lengthy secret, so I'll show you guys where that is as soon as it's up, so don't forget to subscribe. But these mounts range from Island Expeditions, achievements, and also the new Warfront that is coming out, the Battle for Darkshore Warfront. So currently, Darkshore is Horde controlled, similar to how Stormguard Keep was Alliance controlled, so Alliance will be jumping into Darkshore to take it back, meaning that this is a Warfront that Alliance will have access to first, just like Horde had access to the battle for Stormguard first. So with this Warfront, there will of course be a lot of mounts, toys, and even cosmetic gear that the player can purchase. There's going to be a vendor that the player can use a new Warfront currency to purchase things from, and the cosmetics are undead themed on the Horde side and Night Elf themed for the Alliance side. Speaking of gear, we have some new Azerite armor improvements, so all gear from Mythic Pluses and 8.1 raids will have a 5th ring to them. On top of that, Blizzard is giving all the classes new Azerite traits, more Azerite traits, so more traits to choose from. Then also, speaking of armor, 2 races will be getting all new Heritage armor quest lines, the Blood Elves and the Dwarves. So to get these Heritage armor sets, you need to have a Dwarf or a Blood Elf that's level 120, and they need to be exalted with Ironforge or Silvermoon, respectively. These quest lines will take you back to their roots. It'll mention lore from long ago revolving around these 2 races. So I don't want to get too much into it, in case you want to stay spoiler free and aren't too familiar with the lore, but the Dwarf one is heavily Old War themed, whereas the Blood Elf one mentions Arthas's assault on Silvermoon City. Now onto the next 8.1 topic, and that is the return of Legion invasions, which are called incursions. Now I made a video on incursions before, mainly trying to see if they were viable to level your alts with like Legion invasions were, because you can do incursions as 110 as long as you have a character on your account who has unlocked world quests. And in that video, I found it not to be very effective with alt leveling, but who knows, it may have gotten buffed since then. But anyways, these incursions happen on either Kulturas and Zandalar, the opposite faction attacks the area, and world quests change, which lead to one bigger quest to want to complete 4 of those world quests, so just like Legion invasions were. Now incursions last for 20 hours currently on the PTR, whereas if you remember Legion invasions were 12 hours I think, so there's that. And now for island expeditions. There are 2 new ones, Yorndal, which is Vrykul themed, and Havenswood, which is Gilnean themed. With these expeditions, there will be new features being added to them to add more variability. And then on top of that, there will be a new doubloon vendor added that allows you to purchase companion pets, toys, one of which is a cranky crab, which is a mount that your battle pets can ride on. Then there's mounts you can purchase, cosmetic items, plus some other things. So make sure you save your doubloons for that. Now some of those things that it sells are rep tokens, which brings me to my next point, and that is Paragon chests. So Paragon chests were introduced in Legion, which allowed you to get more reputation with a faction past Exalted. Then these chests gave you war supplies, artifact power, or in this case Azerite, and then a chance at a mount or toy depending on who the chest was with. So we don't know all the rewards from the Paragon chests coming in 8.1, but what we do know is that, well, they're all toys so far, all the ones that have been data mined. There's a Proudmoore music box from the Proudmoore Admiralty, Gold Tusk Inn breakfast buffet from the Voldunai, bowl of glowing pufferfish from the Tortollan, and Warbeast Crawl Dinner Bell from the Zandalari Empire. And then also speaking of reputations, there's going to be some reputation improvements coming in 8.1. So first off, the Champions of Azeroth reputation that gives you plus 15 to your neck once you hit friendly, honored, and revered will now carry over to your alts. The reputation progress itself will not carry over, but the neck item level increasers will. And then something for the achievement hunters out there. The 100 Exalted Reputations achievement, which rewards you the Pure Heart Corsair mount, will be account-wide, which I particularly enjoy. Since currently on my main, I'm at 99 Exalted Reputations, and the one reputation I'm not Exalted with is Ravenhold, which I am Exalted with on one of my alts. And the reason I'm Exalted with it on my alt is because I got the Insane in the Membrane achievement on an alt, and Ravenhold reputation is required for that. Now, Blizzard has also said that they want to rework PvP talents in 8.1, but currently on the PTR, PvP talents work the exact same, so I'm not too sure there. But in the same vein as PvP, War Mode is getting improved. So currently what War Mode does, if you are unaware, is it increases your Azerite war resources and gold from world quests by 10% while it's activated. Well, in 8.1, it will now be buffed for whichever faction there's less of in War Mode. So in other words, if you're Alliance, the Azerite war resources and gold that you get from world quests will now be 30%. Yep, currently on the PTR it is set at 30%. Now I'm not sure if it scales up from 10% depending on the faction imbalance, or if it just sees that there's more of one faction in war mode versus the other, then it just gives the lesser faction 30%. And well, that's really it. Oh, and the war campaign is of course going to continue in 8.1. But that's everything that will be coming in 8.1, which once again is being released anywhere between December 11th to the 13th, depending on where you live. So you can let me know in the comments below what your favorite feature will be. I personally really like the war mode thing since I play Alliance and I'm always in war mode. Also, I'm a big fan of the 100 Exalted Reputations change. The raid's cool as well. Anyways guys, that's the entire video. If you enjoyed it, you can leave a like on it, you can sub to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.